When you repeat a thing with the authority of belief, you are not simply speaking words, you are directing the unseen currents that shape your life. Every repetition carves a pathway in the invisible realm, a channel through which your desire rushes toward you. When you say a phrase 100 times, it is not the number that holds the power. It is the state that grows with each repetition, the inner certainty that awakens deeper and deeper within you. You do not repeat to convince the universe, you repeat to convince yourself. And the moment you convince yourself, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself around your conviction. Every time you whisper your desire, you are aligning your inner world with the reality you wish to see. You are shaping your energy, tuning your frequency, and commanding your imagination to stay faithful to the vision you have chosen. In the silence between each repetition, a bridge is built between the seen and the unseen. You may think nothing is happening, but everything is happening. The seed is sprouting underground long before the world sees the first leaf. Your repetition is the watering of that seed, gentle, consistent, inevitable. When you repeat your intention, you are not begging, you are declaring. You are not hoping, you are assuming. You speak as one who already holds the manifestation in hand. Every repetition is a heartbeat of faith. Every repetition is a step into the finished reality. And as you speak it again and again, the feeling of having it begins to grow. This feeling is the force, the secret, the energy that compels the manifestation into form. The outer world is only an obedient reflection of the inner one. Change the inner state, and the outer must follow. There is a moment, quiet, subtle, powerful, when your repetition stops being an affirmation and becomes a truth. You feel the shift within you. You no longer wonder if it will happen. You feel that it is done. And once this inner shift occurs, manifestation is no longer a question of how or when. It has already happened within. The outer world is now simply catching up to your conviction. What you repeat becomes what you believe. What you believe becomes what you live. So repeat your desire not as a ritual, but as a remembrance of what is already yours. Speak it softly, speak it boldly, speak it with the calm certainty of one who walks in the finished story. Let each repetition draw you deeper into the feeling of fulfillment. Let it anchor you in the state of having. Let it lift your energy, align your mind, and awaken your imagination. You are not forcing anything, you are allowing the natural power within you to rise and take form. Repeating a truth is how you awaken it. Repeating a desire is how you claim it. Repeating a state is how you become it. Say it 100 times if you must, not because the number carries magic, but because each repetition strengthens the force within you that no outer circumstance can resist. You are becoming the version of yourself who already has the manifestation. And once you become that version, reality bends, shifts, and reshapes itself around you. Repeat until your words feel real. Repeat until your heart believes. Repeat until the energy inside you becomes undeniable. Because when your energy changes, your manifestation has no choice. It must come. It must appear. It must obey the state you embody. When you repeat a thing with intention, it begins to sink beneath the surface of your conscious mind and take root in the deeper layers of your being. It becomes more than a sentence. It becomes the vibration that you carry. It becomes the atmosphere of your inner world. And the moment your inner world shifts, the outer must bow to that shift. This is the quiet magic behind repetition, not the mechanical chanting of words, but the steady awakening of the state those words represent. Most people repeat out of fear, hoping their words will overpower their doubts. But you repeat to remember. You repeat to stabilize the state of already having. You repeat to dissolve every thought that contradicts your desire, not through effort, but through replacement. Every time you speak your chosen declaration, you are choosing your reality again. You are choosing your direction again. You are choosing which version of yourself you will embody. The world responds not to your voice, but to your vibration. Words simply help you adjust that vibration. They create focus. They bring the mind back to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. They summon the experience inward long before it appears outward. Your words, repeated with faith, begin to paint the inner scene so vividly that the outer world must echo it. Life has no choice but to reflect the image you hold consistently within. You may look around and see nothing changing, yet something enormous is shifting. You are planting energy in a realm that is not visible to your physical eyes. You are moving currents that will soon solidify into events, opportunities, encounters, and results. 100 repetitions may feel like nothing, but each one places another stone in the invisible foundation of your manifestation. You are building a new version of yourself, one aligned with the reality you desire. Once your inner self accepts the truth of your desire, the outer world bends. It bends quietly at first, then unmistakably. A conversation, a message, a sign, a sudden idea, a small opening that wasn't there yesterday. These are the whispers of manifestation taking form. They are evidence that the energy you repeated has begun its journey into physical expression. But the real transformation always starts inside. That is why repetition works. You are not trying to force a manifestation. You are allowing its energy to take you over. You are letting the assumption of your desire replace every old pattern, every old fear, every old story. You are replacing the identity that struggled with the identity that receives. You are becoming the person who naturally attracts what you once thought impossible. The mind is a creature of habit. It will believe whatever you feed it consistently. If you feed it doubt, it will accept doubt. If you feed it fear, it will accept fear. But if you feed it the truth of your desire, calmly, repeatedly, lovingly, it will accept that truth and reflect it into your circumstances. Repetition is how you re-script the mind. It is how you override old assumptions. It is how you break free from patterns that once kept you stuck. Every word you repeat enters the subconscious like a seed. At first, the soil may resist, old beliefs may rise up, doubts may whisper. But if you continue, the soil softens, the seed opens. The new belief begins to live inside you. And when a belief lives in you, your world becomes its mirror. Do not rush this process. Do not ask, why isn't it here yet? The moment you ask that question, you are stepping out of the state of having and into the state of lack. Instead, allow your repetition to immerse you so fully in the energy of fulfillment that the question of when no longer exists. Speak your desire as though it has already come to pass. Repeat it until it sounds like memory instead of longing. When you repeat your chosen truth 100 times, something subtle happens. The first few repetitions feel conscious, deliberate, almost forced. But with each cycle, your mind begins to surrender. It begins to internalize the rhythm. Your breath synchronizes with your words. Your body relaxes. The imagination starts to respond. A scene forms effortlessly. A feeling rises. And suddenly you are no longer repeating, you are experiencing. This shift is the breakthrough. This shift is the energy that forces the manifestation to happen. For manifestation is nothing more than the world conforming to the state you occupy. And repetition is the staircase that takes you into that state. Some people say, I repeated it, but nothing changed. But they repeated with expectation of proof, not with acceptance of truth. They repeated as an attempt to fix their reality, not as an expression of the reality they were claiming. Repetition must not be a struggle. It must be a soft returning, a gentle reminding, a quiet knowing. You repeat not because you need the manifestation. You repeat because the manifestation already belongs to you in the unseen. Let the energy of your words become natural. Let them become familiar. Let them become a part of you. If you repeat wealth, feel wealthy. If you repeat love, feel loved. If you repeat success, feel successful. The feeling is the power behind the words. The words guide the mind. The feeling guides the manifestation. As you continue speaking your truth again and again, the old state begins to dissolve. You find yourself reacting differently, thinking differently, seeing differently. You may notice that things that once bothered you no longer have the same effect. You may find yourself calmer, more grounded, more certain. This is not coincidence. This is transformation. Your repetition is reshaping your inner identity, and your inner identity is reshaping your life. The energy you awaken through repetition is not weak or gentle. It is a force. It is the same energy that shapes galaxies, moves oceans, and breathes life into every living thing. When you align your inner world with this energy, your manifestation becomes inevitable. You no longer chase. You attract. You no longer doubt, You no longer force, you allow. Say your chosen words 100 times and watch what begins to happen. Not instantly in the external world, but immediately in the internal. Your body softens, your chest opens, your breath deepens, your mind quiets, your imagination strengthens. You feel the beginning of the fulfillment. And that feeling is the magnet that draws the physical reality toward you. Keep repeating until your heart accepts the truth. Repeat until your mind stops arguing. Repeat until the feeling of having becomes more real than the appearance of not having. Repeat until the energy becomes so stable that nothing can shake it. Because once your state is stable, manifestation must follow. The outer world has no will of its own. It only reflects the state you embody most consistently. The real power of repeating something 100 times is not in the words, but in the transformation you undergo while speaking them. You rise into a new version of yourself, a version that matches the reality you desire, a version that naturally attracts the experiences you once thought distant, a version that lives in the truth of the wish fulfilled. When you continue repeating your chosen truth, the mind begins to melt into it. The old thoughts that once held authority over you start to weaken. You no longer feel controlled by fear or uncertainty because repetition has given you a new center of power. Every cycle of your words brings you closer to the version of yourself who already possesses what you desire. You are not climbing toward your manifestation. You are aligning with the state where it is already complete. And this alignment is what changes your energy so profoundly that the outer world must respond. You may notice moments where life tests you, where the old world tries to pull you back into the old assumptions. But if you have repeated your truth enough times, the old reality no longer fits. It feels foreign. It feels distant. It feels like something you once lived but no longer embody. This is when you know the shift has taken place. Repetition has rewritten your inner script, and now everything in your life must rewrite itself to match it. When you say something 100 times, Whether whispered softly, spoken aloud, or repeated silently within, you are creating a momentum of energy. This momentum begins to override the stagnant patterns that once kept your desires at a distance. It builds like a wave, rising higher with every repetition, gathering strength, preparing to break into the physical world with undeniable force. You do not see the wave forming beneath the surface, but it is rising, building, growing with every repetition of your chosen truth. Some people underestimate the power of simple repetition because they expect a dramatic feeling or instant result. But real manifestation begins quietly, like the first breath of dawn. You don't always feel the shift immediately, but the shift is happening. Every repetition is a brushstroke painting the image of your new reality. And when the painting is complete within, the world outside will display it. Repeat until you stop trying. Repeat until you start knowing. Repeat until you no longer say the words for results, but because the words feel like your natural state. That is the moment when the energy crystallizes. That is the moment the manifestation becomes inevitable. The universe does not respond to pressure. It responds to power. And power is born from inner certainty, not outer effort. Consider how the mind learns anything by repetition. A language, a skill, a memory. Everything becomes natural through consistent reinforcement. Manifestation works the same way. You are teaching your inner self a new language, the language of already having. You are teaching it a new identity, the one who embodies your desire as truth. And like anything learned deeply, it becomes effortless once mastered. Repetition saturates the subconscious. It floods the deeper layers of your consciousness until there is no room left for contradiction. You are dissolving every belief that once stood against you without fighting them. You are gently replacing them with the energy of your chosen reality. This is why repeating your desire 100 times is so effective. Not because of the number, but because of the saturation. You are overwhelming the old self with the truth of the new. And as the old dissolves, your outer world must shift. You may find yourself attracting people you never expected, opportunities you never imagined, timing that feels almost magical. These are not coincidences. They are alignments. They are evidence that your energy has shifted so significantly that reality is reorganizing itself to match you. Your repetition created the state, and the state created the path. You don't need to strain or question or doubt. The energy you awaken through repetition is intelligent. It knows where to go. It knows how to unfold. It knows the perfect timing, the perfect sequence, the perfect form. Your job is not to control the details. Your job is to maintain the state through consistency of assumption. And repetition is the doorway into that consistency. Keep repeating, especially in moments when your old self tries to return. When doubt whispers, repeat. When fear rises, repeat. When impatience grows, repeat. Not to silence the doubt, but to replace it. Not to fight the fear, but to dissolve it. Not to force patience, but to rise into certainty. As you repeat your desire again and again, you will notice that resistance fades on its own. The mind no longer questions because repetition has given it something stronger to believe. The heart no longer wavers because repetition has given it a new emotional home. The body no longer feels anxious because repetition has taught it safety in the assumption of fulfillment. Eventually, repetition becomes identity. You stop saying the words as a practice and start living them as truth. Your reactions change. Your expectations change. Your choices change. You move differently, think differently, feel differently. And all of this happens naturally because repetition has reprogrammed your inner world. The outer world cannot resist a reprogrammed inner world. It must yield. It must conform. It must obey the state you hold most consistently. When you repeat your truth 100 times, you are telling the universe, "This is who I am now." And the universe always matches who you are, not what you want, not what you hope for, not what you fear losing, but who you are being internally. Repetition is the act of being until it becomes reality. So let your words become your inner fragrance. Let the repetition become your personal atmosphere. Let the energy it builds carry you into the version of yourself you are choosing. And the world will respond with precision, accuracy, and inevitability. If you desire love, repeat with the energy of being loved. If you desire abundance, repeat with the energy of overflowing wealth. If you desire healing, repeat with the energy of wholeness. If you desire reconciliation, repeat with the energy of connection already restored. The more you repeat, the more you shift. And the more you shift, the more the world rearranges. Repetition is not about the mind forcing belief. It is about the inner self returning home to the truth of its own power. You are not creating something new, you are remembering something eternal, that your inner state governs all. Repeat your truth until it becomes more real to you than the facts of your current circumstances. Repeat it until the imagined reality feels richer than the physical one. Repeat it until you walk each moment with a quiet, unshakable certainty that your manifestation is not on its way. It is already here, unfolding, forming, materializing from the unseen into the seen. And then, without effort, the world will match the energy you have been carrying so faithfully through your repetition. And now you stand at the threshold of your new reality, not because the world has changed, but because you have. Through repetition, through assumption, through the quiet conviction you built word by word, you have awakened the force that shapes every outcome in your life. The outer world can no longer resist the inner truth you now embody. What once felt distant now feels familiar. What once felt impossible now feels inevitable. Hold this state. Walk in it. Breathe in it. Live from it. For the moment you choose to remain faithful to your inner reality, the universe becomes powerless to deny you. Everything must come, everything must align, everything must unfold when your energy stands in the certainty of fulfillment. You are no longer wishing, you are claiming. You are no longer waiting, you are becoming. And the energy you have summoned through your repetition will not stop until it brings your manifestation into the physical world. Trust it. Honor it. Stand in it. Because once your inner world says, "It is done," there is nothing left for the outer world to do but echo that truth.